Your client-side JavaScript is starting to mold. It's starting to resemble a bad spaghetti code, and it is time to add structure, but it won't take too long. Gotta get your truth out of the DOM. Take your data in the models that you cannot lose. We'll render out your models with the help of the views. And if you don't want your JavaScript to end up like a mess, it's time for the anatomy of Backbone.js at codeschool.
You're watching the anatomy of Backbone.js, and this is Level 5 Collections. So far in our To-Do app, we've gotten a lot of feedback from our users, and they want to do more than one thing at once, so they want it to do lists instead of just one item. So how do we handle this in Backbone? We could create a couple model instances and then stick that in an array, and then we could loop over that array and put them in the DOM, but there's a better way to do it in Backbone. We could use collections. Here, we're defining a to-do list collection class, just like we've done with models and views. The only thing we have to do is make sure we specify which model the collection is managing, in this case, to-do item. And then we can create a new instance of the to-do list collection and have this manage a set of models. Here are a couple things we can do with collection instances, like get the number of models inside, using length. We can add a model instance using add. We can get a model instance at a certain index using @, and that'll return a model instance. We can get a model instance by its ID, and we can remove a model instance using remove. But let's say we want to populate a collection with models in bulk. How do we do that? Well, collections have a reset function where all we have to do is pass in an array of objects, and each one of those objects will become a to-do item. Now our to-do list collection has 3 to-do items in it. But how do we populate our to-do list collection with data from the server? First thing, let's go back to our to-do list collection class and specify a URL. Now when we call the fetch function from the to-do list collection, Backbone will go ahead and make a get to the to-dos URL and populate our collection with data from the server. And now our to-do list has 2 items in it. Just like we can listen to events on a model, we can also listen to events on our collection instance. Here we're listening to the event name, event, and whenever that event is triggered, we're calling an alert, just like in our models. Collections in Backbone also have special events just like models. For instance, we can listen to the reset event on our collection, and that is triggered whenever fetch or reset is called. If we don't want the event to be triggered, we can pass in silent true to fetch and reset, and that won't trigger the reset event. We can also remove the event listener with off. Just like on model instances, we can listen to an event on the collection by passing in the event name followed by the function that we want to be called when the event is triggered. Some of the built-in events that Backbone provides us is add, which is called whenever a model is added to the collection, remove, which is called when a model is removed from the collection, and as we saw earlier, the reset event, which is called whenever the collection is reset or fetched. Now, there's a special case with the add and remove events, as shown here. When the event function is called, it passes in the model that was either added or removed. On collections, we can also listen to events that are triggered on models. So for instance, we can listen to the change event on any model that is inside of our collection. We can also listen to the change attribute, the destroy, the sync, the error, and the all, and those will all be triggered on our collection whenever they're triggered on the model. Now that we have a set of models, we're probably going to want to do some iteration. First, let's set up our collection using reset with a couple of items. Now, as you can see here, we can call for each on the to-do list, pass in a function, and that function will be called with each item in the collection. So here what we're doing is alerting each model's description, which will look something like this. Backbone provides collections with many different iteration functions, one of them being map, which just like for each takes a function is going to be called with each item in the collection. But this time it's going to build a new array based off the return items of that function. So in this example, we're going to have an array of 2 descriptions. We can also use the filter function to create a new array with only the items that return true from the function. There are many other iteration functions you can use on collections, and these are provided by the underscore library, the same one that gives us our template function. And that's about it for level 5. Have some fun in the challenge area. We'll see you back here for level 6 when we talk about collections and views together.